everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today I want to do something a little bit different. So I think I've been focusing on kind of iterating on the list a little bit too much, so I wanted to keep the list basically the same for today. What I want to focus on today is kind of more so just focusing on my own gameplay. So I'm going to keep the list exactly the same, so there's not going to be very much to talk about here, but what I want my core focus today to be on is just like thinking through my turns and kind of like doing some actual practice, because I don't think the list actually changes a ton from here. Like we might like swap these like harmony hunts out or something, but I want to focus more on just the actual alliance as opposed to the deck. So with that, I think we'll just go ahead and get into some games. All right, we have an Aurora matchup I do need to practice. I tend to like to go second at Aurora. Let's run our 8B and stuff. Make sure that's set up. I do like to click into Aurora generally. Tiger Eye also quite solid. And then where's our 2 blocks here? I feel like the harmonies, yeah, the harmonies are still in here. I think this looks good otherwise. Yeah, seems fine. Just got all the 2 blocks, and I think we're good here. Notably, in this configuration, we are going down on the like all our blues basically. Wonder if it might be right here to actually like cut scene. So one feature I wish Shalshar had is like sideboarding as your opponent's sideboarding. Like I feel like maybe this configuration, like I don't think you ever play Warmongers, but maybe just playing the Cosmics, something like this is probably more so what I would run. I need actually let me update the sideboard guide to say that actually. I feel like CNCs have not been a super high performer into Auroras lately. All right, get that in, get that. I've been trying to also main deck the Cosmics here. I think this is probably more so the configuration I run. All right, so we got a pretty good opening hand. Opponent is on a pretty decent fridge here. Looks like just developing on a rune chant, maybe setting up an embodiment. Oh, not even any embodiment. Okay. So I think we will take the opportunity to go ahead and transcend here. The unfortunate thing is we do have to pitch a red, which is not great, but is what it is. It's still worth it. So we'll just do go again. We'll get what do we want to get here? Could just get like a mauling. Do like 4 1 5 or 4 4 5, or we could just get Breed Anger. I feel like it's pretty close. I feel like Mauling is a better card to leave in the deck, I guess. So I'm kind of fine developing out a Breed Anger here. All right, we'll do go again. Then we'll do like 1 or 0 4 1 Arsenal E-Strike. Seems okay. Notably here, we're still playing around Sigil if we really need to. And an E-Strike is kind of whatever, but it's kind of more of a glue card than anything. Right, find another Transcend, which is good. This might end up getting paid into a B, depending on what they have, but Shock we're totally fine with, especially if there's no CLV to kind of back it up. So I think we're going to try to focus on blocking this turn if we can. Although, so they are revealing Electrostatic. This says go again. So I don't know if we're actually going to be able to reasonably play around or block this out. Because the next thing that they're going to send is going to be coming in for 7. This is kind of a tough spot. We could also break our Traverse to try to block this out, but I think we should honestly probably just accept that this burn up is happening. So now they have Electrostatic. We know they have 1 other card in hands and then card in arsenal. So yeah, I think the burn up is, or the burn up hit is probably happening no matter what. All right, Somersault makes sense. Oh, also we have a cat, just not in the spot that you think he is. So we'll go ahead and take the 8 here. Philip, buddy, it's your cat. I don't know if you can actually see him. I like point it down at the cat. Hello, cat. All right, so we'll take the burn up shock. See if I can actually point it. You get a cat cam there. You can see whatever he's doing. All Alright, Entwine, revealing the same electrostatic. So that implies that their last card is some kind of attack that they probably want to buff. So that means they're probably playing an attack, which means we can also use Traverse on it and just try to send like a decent chase aspect line at them. Okay, this makes sense. Alright, Stack Shock, it's not like a snatch or anything. Notably, it does have an on-hit, but I think we're probably just going to try to eat the on-hit as well. So I think the block is with Traverse here, and then I feel like we're just sending Chase Aspect, Pouncing Key, and then E-Strike draw a card, just to kind of draw into some of our reacts or like some of our Transcend cards. So I think this is pretty good here. We're also not going to be drawing into Chi because we're getting the only Chi that we have in the deck right now. So we'll not pay. And then pass it back. So we'll do exactly what we said. So we'll start by getting our chase. Mr. Cat, what you doing? Philip. Oh, he's leaving. Or he's just sitting. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing. We'll go ahead and just send it. I'll disable the cat cam for now. If he does something interesting, you'll be the first to know. Alright, we see a crown block here. That does make the CNCs that we unfortunately boarded in a little bit better. I need to work on my sideboard guide. I feel like I've been neglecting that for a bit. Might make some of the content a little bit more interesting if I'm actually sideboarding correctly. All right, love to see that block from them. Or I guess not anymore. So they have a second strike and an E-strike. That's good information. I imagine they're just going to bottom the second strike here to E-strike. This depends on what the last card in hand is. But I'm pretty happy with this line, at least. All right, so we see that coming in for 4. Then another 4, and then another 5. This drawing card here is really good because that's exactly what we're kind of playing for. Drawing into reacts so that we can kind of block out what they're doing. All right, go ahead and arsenal and pass it back. So I don't think we need to react this right now. Our hand's actually like really good. I don't know if it's like the best hand in the world, but I think we're kind of able to play out all our cards here. It's a little bit awkward with Drop in the Ocean, notably, but I think it's fine. We just won't play out Windchucker. We'll play out 100 Winds first. So I think we're okay to take this here. Just use our resources efficiently and save our reacts for kind of impactful on hits. So we will start with 100 Winds. Pass it back. Sure. And send in Kakara. Here I'm just trying to hide as much information as possible. So pass. And then we'll drop in resolutions. Gain a resource. Pass again. Here, what do we want to get? We have 2 floating. I want to E-strike the Tiger, ideally, which means we need something with Natural Go again. We don't have anything with Natural Go again, though, is the issue. So you just get like a Mauling Key here and then leave one open for like Sigil. It's kind of reasonable. Yeah, I kind of like that the most out of anything here, I guess. So go ahead and just get Mauling, and then I guess we have to go again on this, which is fine. I'd rather buff, but is what it is. I think if the 100 Winds were still in the deck, it might have been right to actually do 100 Winds, 100 wins and then start doing the Kakara Transcend thing. Or I guess we 100 wins Transcend, get 100 wins, then Kakara. Something like that. But this plays around Sigil of Suffering pretty well, so I guess I'm kind of happy with that. And we still have the React that's going to fall back. We have a couple of chi. I think we have one chi developed out in the deck at this point. So Kasaya potentially live if we get a little bit lucky. But we do also just have AB to play into a big Arc Lightning turn. So I think we're kind of still fine. All right. Double React is pretty all right with me. All right, they're going to play out CLV. And I think we are kind of fine to just pay into this. So I'll pay with 100 wins here. Hand's a little bit weak otherwise, if I'm being honest, but I think we're fine here. So how do we want to block this? Do we want this to just be a blocking setup turn? I think that's kind of fair if they have a CLV out. So I kind of want to just block with like Key Unleashed here just to deny the hit. I think we want to try to basically delay this hit as long as possible is the idea. And then Flick Flack the next thing, Pouncing Key, maybe Arsenal Sick Below or play it, depending on what they do. Because this isn't a hand that really pushes a lot of damage into Aurora. Ooh, they're running Vaporize. So I don't actually understand this card because, like, you have to deal arcane damage for you to break this end state, right? So I don't know. Maybe I don't get it. I've seen this actually played like a couple times against me, and I'm never really sure why. So I think we'll just send Bouncing Key here. Still have one to pay for Sigil Suffering if we need to. So I think we're fine here. They basically kind of just like blanked on their turn. All right, so we're happy to pay into this. I think we'll pay with... Actually, I wonder if paying is wrong. No, it's probably not wrong because Path will Travel plus Harmony is awkward. I think if this was any other Transcend card, I wouldn't pay, but I think it is probably correct to pay here. So we're kind of on a little bit of a defensive pivot here, which is not ideal. I would have liked to kind of have a hand that capitalizes on tempo a little bit better. I think we're fine to just Flick Flack this and then block the next thing with Tiger Swipe. What we're doing is at least pretty efficient, even if it's not very tempo oriented. So I'll pay one again. All right, so we have a Rabble, which is going to be pretty good. Let's go ahead and cash in on that combo value from Flick Flack. Then we'll pay another one. All right, and then it looks like they're going to finish on Starfall for 2 plus a 1 ping. So I think at this point, so notably one thing about like CLV is you generally want them to trigger it at the end of their turn as opposed to like midway through the turn so they can like play around what they're drawing, because they have a lot of draws that are kind of awkward or like need a bigger hand to basically play out. So here I think I'm actually just going to block. I'm actually not going to block this with the intent that they're probably going to play something out otherwise, and then we just Arsenal Sync. So I don't think we need to fully deny the CLV trigger here. I think we're fine to let it happen, and then we'll just block whatever they play. But I think saving the CLV trigger for the end of the turn can lead to some kind of awkward hands, which is what I'm trying to do here, basically. Still have our armor up, which is also good. So we're effectively at 14 plus another 4 if you count React as kind of armor, which it kind of is in this matchup. Opponent notably has no armor, so if we're able to find basically any good hand here, we're in a pretty good spot. So I think we'll go ahead and just use our Harmony up here. They'll deal an extra 2 damage, but again, I think it's fine. And then we'll save our Sink Below for something that really matters. All right, not pay into this. All right, looks like they're going to set up a 5 card hand, so we're fine to just pass back here. And this play line in particular, where we kind of just pass back and forth, really punishes not Wax On, Sigil Suffering in particular. Alright, they have another Arc Lightning turn, which is unfortunate, but we'll make the best of it. So we'll go ahead and just pay with our Binding Brace here so we get a full 3 block. Alright, so they have an Arcanite Shockwave, which is also a really solid card to draw. So I think here we'll go ahead and just sink this. Debating if there's anything in our hand that we actually want to sink. Because Tiger Eye, or using this to play out a CNC against them might actually be kind of decent. So I think I'm fine to not sink. We could also draw into Transcend and just like potentially die depending on what they do. So we'll go ahead and pay another 1. Alright, they'll finish on a Flittering. Sure. Well, they might have another instant here, but we'll see. Alright, they have a Vaporized Shock. Interesting. Sure. So we'll get Delta damage. I'm debating whether or not I even want to wax on this. It's 4 value, but we can also just save it for something better. Debating if it's worth it here. Maybe it is, just with an Arc Lightning out. I don't know. I don't want to take too much chip, I guess, and like die. Alright, okay, 0 into that. Alright, they'll finish on a Static Shock. So maybe we'll block with CNC here. Take an additional 1. Or we'll take an additional 2, go to 4, and then we have this Tiger Eye Reflex in Arsenal. Yeah, I think I might have wanted to actually save that wax on for this. I guess it's losing a point of value. So we'd be effectively at 5. I think this is fine, though. They're still on a 4-card hand next turn, so if they have anything that's like a suboptimal hand, we're probably going to be able to grab tempo back from them. 2 Arc Lightning turns in a row is a little bit unfortunate. Alright, this hand could be good or bad depending on what they do. I would have liked to see this hand last turn, because we could have potentially stuffed their whole Arc Lightning turn. And then some. Alright, we see a CLV being developed, so they probably feel pretty confident that they're going to be able to push some damage here. Fortunately for us, we have the power of Double Transcend, which is very bullshit into arcane effects or effects that want us to pay, basically, like Winter's Bite or whatever. So we'll go ahead and gain our resources and pay into the shock, which is normally not incredibly efficient, but it turns out to be very efficient here. So their CLV turn not looking good so far. But of course, they didn't know that. I'm just saying that it ended up not being good. They're going to go for buff power, which is fine. I feel like we might honestly just use Kasaya block so we hold on to the Flick Flack and then just send a decent tempo hand at them and have this as backup. We could also use Shuko, but I'd rather have Shuko, I guess, for pushing damage. So I think this is fine. So I think that's also second CLV. So they still have 1 more CLV, but that's, I think, okay. Might even be good for us, depending. But here we're seeing the advantage of the Tiger Eyes, at least, which will let us develop out one of our chases without having an aspect, which is quite solid. So we are kind of due for a pretty good turn here. Get our chase, do our thing. Still have 1 to pay into Sigil of Suffering if we need to. I think it's actually kind of like a good play pattern to get into, is to just like always have a card in hand that you're trying to arsenal so that you can play around that. Like, it might not even be efficient to do so if they don't have a CLV out, but like kind of just good play patterns at least. So this is forcing 2 block out of them, and then they're going to be stuck with 1 card. All right, love to see an Arc Lightning guard gone. Fuck that card. That card sucks. But we'll go ahead and pass it back. All right, they have a Lightning Surge, which we are A-okay with. So I think a little bit awkward here, actually, just because we don't have Kasaya anymore, which is kind of rough. But I do think it's still correct to keep Shuko, so we'll go ahead and just block 4 on this. I think we're just mono transcending this. And then just getting a 0 cost. Seems alright. Might not kill here, but it gets most of the way there, I feel like. I think this is going to at least strip all 4 cards out of hand. So we'll get our swipe here. Send swipe for 5, aspect, swipe for 4. Should be pretty hard to block, actually. Like, that might actually just, like, get there all the way. Because they have to block 5 on this, and then 4, then 3. So they need to react here, basically. I think we played this game pretty well. I think that we kind of gave up tempo a little bit just based on our draw, but I don't know if that's something I could necessarily control. All right, finish on the swipe. Cool. And last card is a 2-block. I'm kind of curious to take a look at their deck and see if they actually had the Sigil Sufferings in. I think we piloted that quite well that game. Like, it felt like we were pretty comfortable for the most part. I think the only dicey part was the double arc lightning, but otherwise I think we played pretty well. All right, and it looks like our opponent left without conceding. Unfortunate. We notably do not see any Sigil of Sufferings in their deck, which is kind of interesting. Looks like a very lightning press heavy deck. We did see, I think, them pitch like 2 or 3 of them to keep like a Sylvia around or something. Erase Face is also an interesting inclusion. I don't know if I would run that. Maybe just as like one of filler card. Maybe that makes sense. Sure. Cool. Vaporize is also a choice. Let's go ahead and see if we can get another though. All right, we got a Prism. Don't know if I've updated my Prism list. Let's take a look. So I think you generally actually want the reacts in a Prism nowadays. I think cutting 2 blocks makes sense. Okay, like the Harmony Hunt. And then honestly, maybe even the Tiger Eye reflexes are like fine here. Hello, good luck, have fun. Yeah, I think this looks decent. I don't think we want wax on. I think it's just fine. All right, so we see the Dreamweaver's Rapture setup, so they're going to be more on a beatdown plan. We have a Popper in our first hand, which I think is quite good. All right, opponent is pitching a Herald of Judgment. I guess the question is, how do we want to block this? I feel like we do want to filter, so we try to get an attack to play with Grain the Tips Scale, but we could get punished by like Angelic here. I think it's most likely just going to be another Herald. Okay, we did get punished by Angelic. So that is a little bit unfortunate here. Might have been honestly right to just CNC knowing that they have Rapture. I was kind of trying to play around more double Herald, because if we keep that hand, our hand kind of sucks anyways. But they'll have a pretty decent setup here. This hand is really bad. I guess we get to send CNC, but it feels pretty poor. Especially pitching a CNC at this point is not ideal. If we really wanted to be cute, we could Grain that Tips of Scale CNC, but I don't think they're going to go for the block here. All right, so they'll get rid of their War Tune. So they did have double Herald anyways. So even if we pop, they just send the Herald, and then we block it. I guess that's maybe better. Okay, so we have Herald Protection coming in here. I want to ideally try to deny their flip value. So I think the play is to probably block with Wire, Chase the Tail, sink below, try to draw a blue. And then if we don't draw a blue, it's not the end of the world. So we'll go ahead and sink this. Sink our Chase. All right, we don't find a blue, but that is, again, not the end of the world. All right, and they develop out Library, which could be pretty good here. So we'll go ahead and pitch our red here, do Grain, and then do our Zen thing. I kind of like getting a 1-cost here and then just Arsenaling Tiger. So you do like 4 go again, Arsenal Tiger for a setup turn. We're only losing out on 1 value basically, so I think it's super fine here to just Arsenal Tiger. Them having a 5-card hand every turn for the rest of the game is going to be a little bit rough though. So we'll just send them all in here. We do at least get them down to half-ish. Slightly more than half, I guess. But again, I think we're just trying to stick to the plan here. We've transcended, so now we can finally turn on like Traverse and Pouncing Paws. So our plan is to basically try to block out the first Herald as much as we can. They also revealed a Herald of Ravages. Okay, interesting. Arsenal Tiger and pass it back. Okay, pretty good hand. Yeah, not much to say here. I think we're going to try to use the Flick Flack to try to play around Judgment. So why do we want to do that? I feel like the Nakri line is to... Alright, so there's two lines we can take here, basically, right? We can play around this stupid card, or we can not play around the stupid card. If we want to play around the stupid card, we have to block with Chase. But I feel like we cannot get hit by this, right? Because if we get hit by this, our entire next turn is ruined, basically. So I think maybe it's kind of safe here to just block with Chase and block 6 and then save this for a potential pump. Alright, so fortunately we don't get punished there, but again, I think we are supposed to try to play around that, maybe. I don't care about Triumph as much, though, especially as the second Herald, which means that they won't be able to flip an Angel. Or efficiently flip an Angel. They can still flip an Angel if they want to, but they can't attack with it. So I think we're fine to just take this here. And this is just damage and soul and a Figment, so not the end of the world here. Oh, we have a really, really good turn lined up. It's a little awkward just because the levels in particular, but I think it's still fine. I'd say we'll choose to flip, which is an interesting choice. What does that mean? Does that mean anything? Could mean they have like an ALS or something. Which means I want our first thing to be an attack. So we could actually get really punished here by Sacred Art. Which would be really bad. So our options here are we go for the Sacred Art or we go for like the levels 2 modes draw card. I think it's kind of close between the two. I think I'm gonna go for the levels actually. There's an argument to like pitching the Flick Flack and stuff. I think this is gonna be fine. So we'll go ahead and get a Chase Steal here since we have Verdant Tigers. They have the opportunity to play an ALS here, which is maybe what they're trying to set up by playing this Bologna. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm curious what the line is here. Yeah, Judgment. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll do draw go. I think Judgment is not always the best. So Judgment is actually really interesting here because I think this punishes this line a little bit more than the other line. But I think it's still kind of fine here. Let's go ahead and pay 2 here. Send in Tiger for 1. Yeah, so we definitely, I feel like, got maybe a little bit punished there. If they go for a flip here, I do want to hold back this Biting Breeze. So I think we're actually just supposed to pass here. If they want to flip with the 2 resources, we'll play the Biting Breeze in response. I think that's correct. Which will at least threaten a card in their hand more than anything. So I think the Sacred Art line was slightly better. I think it's close, though, because I think they can still do the same thing if we do the Sacred Art, right? All right, so we force a card out of hand here, which is really, really good for us. Get rid of Arc Light. I am A-okay with that. And then they just have an Angel developed. Okay, really, really solid hand for us. Notably, they also don't have the Erudition yet. What happened to Erudition? They just not play it? Interesting. We'll go ahead and just pass here. I think we just want to hold on to React. And they play out a Pierce. I think they're gonna die before the Pierce actually ends up mattering here. So I think what we want to do is actually start off with Biting Breeze. So we'll target them. Yeah, I think we'll target them. I think there's like maybe a small argument for attacking Angel, because we can at least get like the Tiger on hit or something. I don't think it's super necessary. We'll just send some annoying breakpoints here. And then just hold on to a React and Arsenal in case we need it for a Herald. So I think the biggest misplay of this game was not just blocking with the CNC on turn 1. Because that plays around that specific thing happening. All right, we'll go ahead and Path Will Traveled as well. Gain a resource, and then go for a chase here. So that, oh, we don't have another chase. That's fine. We can still get a Breed Anger here. So basically the same thing. I guess Breed Anger has the added benefit that we can kill a Pierce Reality at the end of the turn. Sure. Small misplay, I guess, not realizing that I didn't have any chases left, but it's okay. Still have a pretty decent set of tools for next turn. We have plenty of armor. We're at like a 20-point lead. So not looking too bad for us. Go ahead and just clean up the Pierce here, which I don't think is actually very good in Zen at all. Just because he's able to kill it incredibly well. Okay, double Flick Flack I am kind of fine with. So I think we go ahead and just block 7 here. And then if they pump, we cover it, and then we're chilling. So this is why reacts are a lot better, because a lot of the Prisms have kind of like moved off the Aura plan, and they're just kind of doing Herald Beatdown in Zen, but we can kind of adapt to that with these 4-block reacts. Okay, so coming in with another Herald. Again, I think I'm sticking to our policy of basically being fine with the second Herald hitting. So I think we're okay with this hitting. And we just get to hold on to a Flick to deny the Rapture value on the next turn. Alright, so they finally get out of Erudition. I feel like they maybe should have gotten this a little bit earlier, but is what it is. They're going to go ahead and also flip Themis, which is fine. So we're just going to go ahead and be super annoying with our breakpoints. Alright, they block with Pierce, which is fine. So I think we're getting Breed Anger here, just to be maximum annoying. They notably haven't gotten Library value in a little bit. I think Library is actually like not a bad card. I've heard people just run this. So I've been listening to like some good Prism players, and apparently some of them historically have just been running this card into everyone regardless of who they are, because the card is just that good. It's kind of an interesting value proposition, I guess. All right, so get to pop the Angel here. They're completely starved of soul, notably, so they're not going to be able to get this Erudition online anytime soon unless they hit with like 2 Heralds or Soul Food or something weird. But we are fine just kind of putting a React in Arsenal here. All right, hand's kind of mid, but I think it's salvageable here. So I think the play here is to maybe just like block 5 with like Kasaya. We could also block with Kasaya plus Flick. I kind of want to say Flick for like the Wraths. So I think we'll just block like this. If they want to pump, we can go for the cover. Cool. So lining up perfectly. And then they can't do anything else with the rest of their turn, so we're very happy with that. So we could send 2 into 7, or we can send 5 into 3, or we can just send 7 Arsenal this. I kind of want to push the advantage while we have it. I think we're just going to go for the kill here, so we'll do like 2, 1, 7. Because the fewer cards they have, the better. Or actually, maybe we don't even need to pop Pouncing Blast here. Maybe we just go for 7. Because this at least demands 2 cards just on board. They don't have any soul, so they can't flip this to protect them as well. So I think we're piloting this game quite well. So we take them down to effectively one card unless they have like a, what is that called? Soul Shield. Yep, so very good for us. Just need to not brick super hard, which we're not bricking here. It's actually kind of funny. I don't even really want to play out the CNC if I don't have to. But it's probably, no. It's weird to play out the CNC because I don't really want to. I feel like we might just sink Tiger Eye here. I feel like that might be better. Let's just hold on to Tiger Eye. Yeah. See if we can find something a little bit better. And I think that qualifies as better. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pop our pause. Send in the Tiger. Just keep up the pressure, I think, here. Alright, so get some more blocks out of them, and then this will also demand 2 blocks. So you effectively starve them of their library pretty well. They can go for like 6 block on this, and then like Arsenal is probably the best play here. But then we get full tempo to do this. Alright, it's pretty good. We'll go ahead and start with these two. Gonna get punished here by ALS, but I'm not thinking about that because I'm stupid. Let's go ahead and I guess we'll hold on to sink below in case we get punished incredibly bad, but we'll play out the Tiger to at least mitigate our punish. So that could have actually been a throw, especially since we knew they had ALS. So what was the play instead, actually? There's definitely another play there. Alright, I got a little too ahead of myself, but unfortunately, again, we're not getting punished here. I think that opens us up actually really badly to potential loss. Not a loss, but like I think we're too far ahead for that. But like if in a closer game, I feel like that would probably open us up to a bit of a punt. All right. And I think we basically have lethal here. Just get a mulling keys, another Tiger for 1, and we should be good. Yeah, but again, I don't like how I piloted this last turn in particular. I think that kind of opened us up to a little bit of liability with the ALS. See how close they were actually to ALS. We saw like 2 of them pitched. Okay, so they had like a third one in there. I think I did see at least one of these pitch. I forget what. I don't know if I saw the other one. They might have shuffled at some point off like Halo or something, or off a Figment Tutor. Yeah, but that's kind of how the Prism match goes. I think it's very Zen favorite, honestly, at this point, especially if you kind of know how to pilot it. Generally, the biggest tip I have in this matchup is to just block the first Herald so that they don't get Rapture value for free and develop that Angels for free. Like, if they're paying for Angels, it gets really, really bad for their rate, basically. Yeah, but I think that's going to be that game. Let's see if we can get another. Mr. Cat. Cat. All right, we've got a Viserai. Generally like going first in a Viserai. I feel like I recognize its username. Where's our Viserai sideboard? All right, make sure we got a B. What change? I think it's the Harmony of the Hunts. I think this looks vaguely correct. Yeah, let's go ahead and give it a shot. All right, so unfortunately we have the homage, or this hand's a little bit awkward. I think we'll just go ahead and maybe try to get rid of the chase and the Tiger Swipe. Maybe just play out Aspect. Filter our hand here, so we're digging towards like another Transcend or a blue. I think you want to go first, by the way, into Viserai, just so they don't set up a ton of auras on turn 1 and pass, because you're never getting filtering in that situation. I think that's a key kind of concept to. I think Zen tests the importance, I guess, of like hand filtering a lot more than a lot of other heroes, just because you have these 9 power cards in your deck that you're basically trying to draw to. Let's go ahead and Arsenal our homage here. All right, good transcending hand. Let's see what their play is. Notably, they're on Veximouse, which I've actually kind of seen in a lot of Viserai lists, and I thought is very, very spicy, especially in this matchup, just for like a cheeky kill. Kind of like that card a lot in the blue slot, just to kind of like have like an end game plan, because I think like it's pretty solid, honestly. What did we reveal? We revealed Gloomveil, so we're putting that to hand. We'll not take any, or we'll not pay anything here. they'll have the Gloomveil come in. So notably Succumb is live. I guess we'll go, we might as well like play around it, I think. It's probably pretty safe too. Alright, another Gloomveil is spooky though. I guess it's only for 3. Is that even good? Oh, it is for... Oh, right, it's for 4 because of enchant. Alright, so I think if we get Succumb here, it's not the end of the world because we have kind of redundancy in our Transcend cards. So I think we're fine to take a little bit of damage here. They have Succumb, they have Succumb. Not the end of the world. Like, our hand's pretty resilient to Succumb, at least. Looks like they're maybe going to finish on, like, a Reaping Blade. Pretty decent turn. Little 10 damage turn. Or I guess it's like 13 damage turn. It's like a 3-card 13. It's pretty good. I guess it was double Gloomveil though, so like that's kind of like the peak rate card that I think Viserai has. I think our hand next turn is going to be pretty solid. Right, we have 2 we have 2 combo cards out of the deck, and we also pitch 2 combo cards, so our chances of hitting off Harmony are actually like quite low. So if we have 4 cards gone out of 52 card deck, that's 23 out of 52, which is like 40%. Ah, fuck it, I'm just gonna hit anyways because I'm good at this game. Yeah, that's fucking right, baby. Alright, we'll do card. That's why they call me the best gamer, because I calculate the odds, I notice that they're poor, and then I do it anyways. Oh wait, actually, sorry. We should actually probably play out cards instead of just doing this. Alright, we'll go ahead and get... What do I want to get here? I guess Breed is like fine. We could also get Key Unleash, but then Tiger Swipe becomes awkward. I think Breed is probably just the best play here. Get an Arsenal Growl, or we can play it out here. Kind of fine with either. Might as well just get our 4 value now, I feel like. God, Harmony, my love. Thank you for saving me once again. Just another plus 7 or 8 value for nothing. So good. All right, I think we'll play out the Growl here. I don't see a strong, compelling reason to not play out Growl. Looks like they're maybe going to take like a little bit of a setup turn or something next turn if they're blocking. But stupid good hand. And ridiculous Harmony luck as always. Alright. Keeping a 3-card hands. Pretty good. We got Chi developed out. We are big chillin'. Alright. Our hand kind of sucks, but we can do something here. What's the play? We can do like E-Strike Go again 2-5. It's like somewhat okay. It did play out 2 Malefics, which is a little bit scary, especially on like a Margit turn. So we could also just try to draw towards Transcend or something here. But notably with Malefics, we at least get the opportunity to like block with Traverse to block that out if they want to like super heavily invest in those. Let's go ahead and just E-Strike here. We'll bottom. I don't think it really matters what we bottom. We'll just do Go again. Again, we'll stick to the plan of Viserai, which is beat them up when we can, and then block them out when we can as well. It's in a nice little 4-card 12, which is not actually that nice, but at least it's something. And this hand's pretty alright. This might be a hand where we actually want to start paying in AB. Oh, they did pitch a succumb, though. What does pitching a succumb mean? Does that mean we have another succumb coming? It's like, this is one of the stronger cards in the matchup. Huh. That's a puzzle to me. I kind of want to start paying into AB to kind of play around that and maybe just try to go for an Arsenal and Pathwell Travel. So let's go ahead and block with Wind Chakra here. I'm a little bit suspect because this is generally seen kind of, at least in my eyes, this is like a Viserai power card, right? Okay, looks like they're not going to go for it here, but at least we get some efficient blocking here, which I'm not opposed to either into Viserai. So you get some Malefic triggers, lots of Malefic triggers, actually. All right, then we just block 6 here. I think we're fine with this. Again, we're playing a little passive here, but I think it's okay if they're doing something weird like pitching Succumb. I think I'm A-okay with this. All right, go ahead and just Arsenal Path. I think they also got a little bit unlucky there because I think they pumped Sonata for 5 and only saw one thing. But them's the breaks. All right, we see a Rattlebones. What are we going to get? I assume we're just a Gloom Veil. Oh, we're getting Amplify. Daring today. Sure. Alright, so we see the Rune Flash coming in first. See a bunch of Malefics getting triggered. I think we're just going to go ahead and pitch all our blues. This is also why I like going up on blues into Viz. Just lets you do really efficient things like this. And blocking out into Viz is generally very, very solid. Oh, they do have a Rebel, though. It's pretty good. So they're going to be able to push a lot of damage here. But again, I think we're still content blocking here. They've used up a lot of resources. They don't have any Rune Chance developed out after this, and we've kind of weathered most of the Malefics. We still have, I think, 1 left here. I know, we have 2 left. Oh, sorry, I hit it. 0 on that. Rune Chant, sure. So the life totals have equalized here, but we still have just a ton of tools at our disposal. Go ahead and just block with this. So the life totals are now even. They do have Malefic set up. We still are sitting on Transcend as well, though. Just waiting to potentially do like a 2-card Transcend. All right, go ahead and pass it back. The plan may have changed here just because now we have levels plus path. So that kind of wants me to maybe go for that instead, but it definitely could be a bit greedy if they're representing Succumb here. I think Succumb is like the main card I play around in this matchup. All right. Seems like a very weak turn for us, so we are absolutely going to capitalize on this. All right. Pay 0 into the Rune Chant. Take the Reaping Blade. They set up another Malefic, but again, I think it's quite weak. It looks like they maybe draw a little bit of a brick hand with the Ninth Blade and the Runic Reckoning. We are absolutely going to borderline get them dead next turn. All right, let's go ahead and do our full levels combo. Want to get an aspect here. We'll do buff draw. Draw Warmongers, which could be useful depending on if they keep a 5-card hand, but might just be Arsenal fodder. Or not fodder, but just Arsenal. Depends what they do here, though. If they want to try to get greedy and keep this whole hand, we're absolutely going to punish them here. I think Warmongers is also kind of a good reason to go first. Just if you can like play a Warmongers out into 0, there's not a ton they could do with it. Like most of the time they just choose peace and play out some auras and don't do anything. Alright, so we see some equipment block, which leads me to believe they want to try to keep this hand as much as possible. So they're technically not dead on board, which means I think they are going to go for the 5-card hand and just try to go for lethal. Which we are absolutely going to punish them for here. Alright, we do see a block out of them, which makes sense. So that's 2 succumbs out of the way. Hopefully we can ruin their day with Warmongers, as it does to many Rune Blades. Alright, they're going to go for peace here. I am a-okay with peace, especially drawing this hand. So again, we are just going to go for lethal here. How many Malefics have they played out, by the way? This is an excessive amount of Malefics. Have we seen 5 Malefics? Jesus. Okay. So we can't win Chakra here, unfortunately. But we're still just fine Dividing Breeze here, and then we'll use this for pitch. So again, we're really far ahead on tempo here. Taking the Biting Breeze, sure. So now, do we have Chase? We do have 2 Chases still left in the deck. We'll go ahead and banish Veil here. I don't think it really matters. And then we'll get our Chase, send that thing, and then E-Strike for 7 or something. I think there are a lot of different paths to victory with what we could do here. I think we just have too much tempo at this point. So now this will demand 2-3 cards out of their hand. Unless they have React, which they could very well have, like a Rune Chant. Or no, what was that called? Runic something. The one that blocks 4 and then like costs 1 less if you have Rune Chant. I forget what that card is called, if I'm being honest. The Rune Chant blocky card. Tegan pull that shit up. Alright, anyways, I think that's going to be the last game for today. So we got some pretty good games in. I think that was pretty helpful just in terms of my practice level to get some good games in. I think that there are a couple matchups that I'm still trying to lab here a little bit. I think Jarl is actually kind of the one that I'm thinking about the most. I've been thinking about Tiger Eye Reflex in that matchup versus like Reacts, because I've been getting Oakenhold a lot more than I'd like to recently. We didn't see Jarls today, but I think that that's a matchup that I think has gotten a little bit closer, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I've just been drawing pad also. But anyways, hope you all have enjoyed the video for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.